Hey there, folks. I am the Mighty Plantain, and we are checking out a beer from Liquid Riot. Now, these guys have got a distillery and a brewery going down in Portland, Maine, 120 Commercial Street, I believe. 250 Commercial Street, Portland, Maine. So if you're in the area, check them out. Their single malt whiskey is great. They've got some other whiskeys that I plan on trying but just haven't gotten around to yet. And I knew they had some beers, which I was really excited about after trying their single malt whiskey. But this particular beer, I have to thank Matt A. for bringing it to my attention via Facebook. This is A Beer Has No Name. Now, some of you are going to get that reference. It's a Game of Thrones thing. Who am I kidding? Probably 90% of you have watched the show. I was probably the last person who started watching it. And now I'm looking forward to the next season. Although I'm not looking forward to adding HBO to my cable package just to get it. But hey, wait till the full season's out and then just do it for a couple of weeks. Anyway, binge watching, hooray! But a beer may have no name, but it does have a style. It's a double IPA, 8.2% ABV. Yeah, so it's a double IPA from Liquid Riot. And like I said, these folks brought me a great single malt whiskey. Oh, it was so good. I have posted a link to that review up in the corner there. Make sure you check it out when you're done looking at this video. So, I've had a couple of their beers before, and I want to say I've seen them at the local brew fests in Bangor, but I'm not 100% about that, so. But I have had a couple of their beers out of cans already at home, for sure. Now that is a very foamy IPA. Got a decent head on it without trying too hard. It's also very, very hazy and cloudy. Now I'm not seeing particulates floating up in there, so these are very fine particulates. Pardon. Any haziness or cloudiness is actually caused by particulates floating in the beer, but sometimes you see obvious particulates, like big chunks floating in there. This is the very fine particulates. It's got a nice golden color that darkens to a bronze or copper. I would say more of a bronze through here. So it's got a nice light golden color that darkens to a bronze up there, which is really nice. How many times did I just say nice? I might have had a couple of beers before filming this. But yeah, a nice hazy golden bronze color with great effervescence. This head is not going down. That's pretty cool. It means there's going to be a lot of the aroma is going to be very forward because this head is bringing all those particulates up and enhancing the aroma. I mean, I'm just getting an overall hoppy bitterness, but I tend to pick up on pine and citrus more than any other hop aroma, and I'm getting a lot of pine out of this, with hints of citrus. But right underneath the pine, there's a distinct earthiness. So if I'm getting more than just pine and citrus in the aroma, then this is probably a more complex hop blend than I'm used to seeing. Because for me, like I said, I key into pine and citrus more than anything else. So whenever I pick up earthier floral aromas or anything else, the pine, citrus, earthy, and floral, those are the big four. But then there's, other more subtle things like dankness, fruity notes. Anyway, the big four are there. But anytime, like I said, that I pick up on more than just pine and citrus, it means that it's a fairly complex hop blend. because I'm keyed to those two primarily. Alright, I am babbling. I may have had more than a couple beers before this, so... It's got a nice medium mouthfeel. It's juicy. One thing I've noticed about Maine IPAs, we tend to have Maine IPAs and New England more generally, but specifically Maine IPAs, we tend to have a very nice, juicy hop character. This has got a nice medium mouthfeel, and there's this nice combo of pine and citrus that just kind of, it rests alongside the jaw muscles. Okay, this is getting a little weird. But if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. It just kind of sits in here and rolls down the throat along the side of those jaw muscles. They get stimulated. And it's not a taste sensation. They just get stimulated by the overall mouthfeel of the beer. And the taste is awesome. I mean, it's a great beer. It's obviously a double IPA because of the medium mouthfeel, that nice dankness that comes through. I'm primarily getting earthy notes in the taste, followed by pine, hints of citrus and floral in the finish. But like I said, it kind of rides down those jaw muscles. It sounds weird even when I say it, but if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then I can't really explain it to you until you've tried this beer, and then you'll understand. But it's a very robust, bold, complex hop character to this beer. Something, like I said, I've associated with New England IPAs and Maine IPAs in particular. I'd compare it to Shipyard's Monkey Fist. I'd compare it to any of the Sam Adams Rebel IPAs, especially, and the Rebel IPAs, and I would also especially compare it to their New England IPA. Sorry. The hiccups are trying to force their way through and I'm tamping them down. But it's... My God, I think I'm going to borrow a tactic from Boosh here and say, this is the Campbell's Chunky Soup of IPAs. I know, that sounds really messed up when I say it. But yeah, I just think of, you get your regular chicken noodle soup. And let's grab your Campbell's Chunky Chicken Noodle Soup. Now let's grab an IPA from any brewery in the country, just their general IPA. And that's your chicken noodle soup. Your Campbell's condensed chicken noodle soup. And then you got your chunky chicken noodle soup. And your New England IPAs, like Liquid Riot's A Beer Has No Name, those are your Campbell's Chunky Chicken Noodle Soups. Maybe this makes sense to you, maybe it doesn't. But what I'm ultimately getting down to here is this is a very complex, very robust, juicy, delicious New England, specifically Maine, IPA, and it's got some fucking balls, man. It's got some balls, which means it belongs among the pantheon of Maine IPAs. So, I'm not quite ready to give it a 5 out of 5, a perfect score, because it's not giving me that wow factor. There's nothing specifically setting it apart and making me go, ooh, that's different, or wow, that's perfect. but it's as close to perfect as it can possibly be without that wow factor. So now I film several of these reviews per night, so this is the second time tonight that I'm hitting this same impasse where I really want to give it a 5 out of 5, but I've been stingy with those lately, and again, I try to reserve them for the beers that make me go wow or holy shit, you know. So I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5 because it's just shy of that wow factor while still being a perfect beer and something that really impresses me but doesn't quite blow my mind. I mean, it's awesome, and I can't fault Liquid Riot at all. I love the fact that they're a distillery and a brewery. By the way, if anybody from Liquid Riot is watching, and I flatter myself by assuming you are, Jameson has been doing a Caskmate series of whiskeys, and some other distilleries have been doing whiskeys like this, and some other breweries have been doing this. Basically, beers being finished in whiskey barrels, that's nothing new. But whiskeys being finished in beer barrels, that's a bit of a turn, and that's relatively new. You guys have got great whiskeys in your distillery, and you've got great beers, in my experience so far, from your brewery. If you're not already working on something similar to Caskmates, where you're aging your whiskeys in your beer barrels and vice versa. No, it's not vice versa, you fucking morons. So many people post that, vice versa. It's not vice versa, it's a vice versa. Please look it up and double check before you make some big public statement using the wrong terminology. Alright, I'm off the soapbox. I'm trying not to be an asshole here. But I'm going to get back to my original point. You guys from Liquid Riot, you've got great whiskeys, you've got great beers. If you're not already mixing and matching and exchanging casks and aging one in another, oh, you should be. I hope you are, because I look forward to trying it. But anyway, that's just what I got to say. I know, I got off on a couple of tangents there, so thanks for bearing with me, folks. Thanks for tuning into this video. Till next time, cheers. Check out anything Liquid Riot puts out there. So far, they have not disappointed.